What's the haps, y'all? It's your boy Ash. Let's talk about this Marquez Pacquiao full knockout. Now, normally, a fight is a fight, and I usually don't even care who wins, whatever. There's two men, gotta have respect for both men going in. Two great fighters are in the ring. Somebody has got to take that L. But for this fight, it's just a little bit more sweeter because this has a lot attached to it as it concerns the YouTube boxing community. See, back in the game, there was guys that was doing this way before me. You had 97 Rough, you had Hudathan, you had blood boxing, and a bunch of guys. But there was a point where the YouTube boxing community was up and going, boy. We was doing videos, we were responding to each other's videos. It was a full-on dialogue over the web about boxing and all type of events in boxing, and right around that time, around 08, 09, something like that, when Pacquiao was really starting to make his name, them damn Pacquiao single-handedly ruined the community that was already established and growing. And in my opinion, the YouTube boxing community at that time had so much knowledge. And it was full-on discussions. Everybody didn't always agree, but everybody had validity to their points. It wasn't none of this Flomo Pactard bullshit that's been going on for the last couple of years. I mean, everybody on there had some knowledge and could fully articulate their points with facts. But and everybody was a Pacquiao fan. Everybody was a Mayweather fan. Everybody was fans of everybody. You know what I'm saying? But them damn Pacquiaos, if you weren't basically yielding or submitting to the will of Pacquiao, if you wouldn't engage in full submission and worship of Pacquiao, you got called every racist name under the sun. Especially if you were a minority. And, I got called all type of stuff, but at that time, nobody was really paying attention to it, but it just continued, and continued. And it basically single-handedly destroyed the YouTube boxing community. I mean, they hit Blood up. I know they hit me up. They hit up guys who I used to, do videos with, responses, all that. You got D-Style Boxing, you had Filthy Mouth, Joe Habib, Outside the Ropes, me, 97 Rough, just a bunch of dudes. I can't think of everybody off the rip, but that's because it's been so long. You know what I'm saying? I don't even remember all the channels that was out there. You had Guard Your Grill. Everybody was doing boxing videos, but them Pactars, they made sure they hit up every last one of our videos, and it didn't happen day after day, week after week, month after month. It happened year after year, 365, until there was no more community left. And I'm thankful that there is a community still out there now, but all the old school guys are gone. It's only like a few around. And I listen to guys' videos today, and they just don't have that content. They don't have that knowledge base that was back there. And I don't blame them. I mean, if you're a boxing fan, you got to grow in the sport. And you got to start somewhere. That's why I usually don't thumb down nobody video, even though if I don't disagree with it or I know there's some inconsistency in there and some lack of real content there, I always thumb it up anyway, because the boxing fans, they got the courage to put their face out there and spit it like they know it. So basically, back to the story. If you weren't in full submission to Pacquiao, or if you wouldn't be in a good enough fan for them Pactars hit you up, called you every racist name under the sun. So after year after year after year, all of a sudden, man, and I saw the way the media was safely crafting a path to the Hall of Fame for him, I wasn't a fan no more. You know what I'm saying? And I've always tried to keep the element of objectivity. I criticize fighters, and I also give fighters their props. I consider myself very balanced. And over time, I just stopped being a fan of this dude because of the media, but most importantly, them damn Pactars. And to me, this is sweet. This is a sweet victory for Juan Manuel Marquez, being robbed fight after fight, not getting his just due. And this fight right here closed the chapter on the Pacquiao Marquez quadrilogy, or whatever you call the fourth fight. It's not a rubber match. So we finally know for sure who the better fighter of the two is. And the better fighter of the two won. He emerged victorious on Saturday night. But I do want to take the time out to give Pacquiao props, because he came to fight and he was beginning to touch Marquez up a little bit. And I don't want to fully, turn Pacquiao into some doggone freak show. Now, in the wake of his loss, in his KO loss, I'm gonna give him his credit. He is a very good fighter. He is one of the best to ever come through this sport. And if you know me, you know my channel, I used to give him credit all the time back in the past. It's just, it was an all-out war over online because of this guy. Rabid ass fans, and all the great fighters had fans that were just off the rocker. De La Hoya had some absurd fans. Roy Jones had some, oh my God, they were delusional. Tito had his legion of fans. Every great fighter has a legion of fans, but there was nobody as bad as them damn Pacquiao. Hands down. Hands down, dog. Now, I ain't gonna lie, them Flomos, they have some crazy, they got some crazy, ideas, and their logic is a little bit twisted too, but at the same time, they not nearly as bad as them damn Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So this victory was sweet. I'm very glad for Juan Manuel Marquez for going in there doing what he did. He couldn't match Pacquiao's speed, and he looked a little slow on Saturday night. But when the best way to negate speed, if you can't touch him up to the body like you want to, time his ass. Timing beats speed. Over and over again, timing will always beat speed if you have the ability, the intelligence, and the skills to do so. He had the ability, the skills, and the intelligence to do so, and he emerged victorious. But yeah, that's why this victory is a little sweet, because the community was destroyed, and those were some real good times, man. I mean, during the course of the day, I'm thinking like, dang, what video I'm gonna do today? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even at home. That's how much fun I had posting videos and getting into a discussion about whatever the topic may have been for that day or that hour or those hours. It was some very good content. I loved it. But as far as the fight itself, you got they talking about steroids and stuff like that. Now, mind you, years ago this would have been a non-factor. When the fight for Mayweather and Pacquiao was first introduced, all this could have been negated if you would have just took the damn test. It was unprecedented that anybody, any athlete, world-class athlete, could turn down a drug test to tell the fans, the audience, that he is clean, and the media not do anything. Never ever you would ever see that in any sport but boxing, where a guy would turn down a drug test and not be ridiculed for it. The other guy gets ridiculed. That's another reason why Pacquiao had his legion of haters, because of the favoritism. And if you know me, I hate favoritism in the sport of boxing. I hate it with a passion. I don't dislike it. I don't loathe it. I fucking hate it. Because all these guys are men. All these guys got family. All these guys put their lives on the line. For you to just put a guy over the sport as if he built the sport himself or single-handedly carried the sport himself, which no fighter has done. I don't care what you say. It could be De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson. None of them single-handedly carried the sport. If that's the truth, they were the only guys to fight on TV. And if that wasn't the case, they didn't single-handedly carry shit. They may have led the way, but they ain't single-handedly carry a goddamn thing. Okay? And also what was unprecedented, that a fighter would sue another fighter. That don't happen in boxing. Because you're talking shit? I've never understood that. I've always stood firm on the fact that the judge and jury are right here. The guy talking shit about you, telling you that you're on steroids, you got the opportunity to bypass dialing 911, to bypass taking the shit to litigation. You have the full authority and right to take this guy to the ring and show him exactly what you feel about him. Beat his ass and get a check for it. This is the fight game. Alright, defamation lawsuits should not exist in sport, and because of a lawsuit, you have created an unprecedented, you have created a whole different element to the boxing game, because now that's always an option. Now you got Freddie Roach saying that Marquez was on steroids and now he's about to get sued. You see what you started. Now let's go back to that video I did years ago when I said you shouldn't do that, that fighters don't sue each other. That don't happen in sport. Now look what's happening. You see what I'm saying? All this stuff is happening because you just did not want to take that damn drug test. You're an ambassador of the sport. Why would you turn it down? I don't want to hear about, oh, he finally agreed. 4 years later, when the fight is all but dead, 4 years later, when you could have made 50 million plus, 4 years later. Now, go on record and think of all the fighters who have been asked to take a drug test. All the fighters who have been asked to take a drug test took one. Never any excuses. Never saying, oh, they're making up their own rules. Victor Ortiz took it. Shane Mosley took it. Marquez took it. Berto took it and failed, but he took it. That's the point. He thought he was clean. He took it. He failed. Lamont Peterson thought he was clean. He took it. He failed. Amir Khan. Nonito Donaire. All these guys, Robert Guerrero, all these guys voluntarily giving up their blood and urine. But Pacquiao, the only one to turn it down. And if you were really serious about taking that drug test to fight Mayweather, you would have took a voluntary drug test in any of your fights not named Mayweather. That's the way you prove that you're willing to take a blood and random urine protocol. And you never did that. So it didn't hold any weight with nobody except your legion of fucking worshipers. But it's all in the dirt now. You lost. You got knocked out by the better fighter. And of course you got guys talking about, well, at least Manny Pacquiao stepped up to fight top-notch competition. Mayweather fought Marquez already after a 2-year layoff. And then they go to the point that he didn't make the weight. It was a welterweight fight. The welterweight limit is between 141 pounds and 147. If you weigh over that, then you didn't make weight. If you weigh under that, you didn't make weight. As long as you weigh within that region of pounds, you are on weight for a welterweight fight. Period. Okay, you want to call out Mayweather after you knock out a guy at lightweight, and then you want to talk shit because he won't meet you at a catch weight in his weight for his title? Don't give me that fucking garbage. And if you go to Boxing Scene and go back to that first press conference for Mayweather and Pacquiao, Mayweather said on camera, I'm not coming in at no 144. I'm coming in at welterweight at 147. You don't believe me? Go to Boxing Scene, go to their videos, go to that first press conference. The first one. Before they even went to training camp, Mayweather said out of his mouth, I'm coming in at 147. That's what he said. Okay? Now, you want to, I'm sure the haters are saying, oh, you're obviously a Floyd. No, it's always the same shit with them. That's why I don't even pay no attention or even bother arguing with them people. Their minds are made. But what was the difference between Marquez fighting Pacquiao on Saturday night? Marquez weighed 143. Pacquiao weighed 147 at the weigh-in. What was the difference in the outcome? The guy who weighed in less knocked out the guy who weighed more. Skills pay the bills. Unless you're a physically grinding fighter where you use your weight against your opponent, that weight shit don't even fucking matter. Unless you're just a naturally much bigger guy like Manny against Sergio Martinez, then weight matters. But these guys fought at welterweight, and the better man won on both of those nights. So just go ahead and chalk it up to the fact that Marquez is just a better fighter. And I really feel glad for Marquez, because when he fought Pacquiao the last time, he won that fight and they robbed Marquez. And they didn't just rob him of victory or rob him of legacy and rob him of history. They robbed him of being the first Mexican-born fighter to win a title in 4 divisions. legitimately, and not the one they handed over to Eric Morales when he fought at 140. Marquez was robbed of his history. If he wasn't going to be the first, he was going to be the second Mexican-born fighter to do it. And that's the shit that bothers me. Like, this guy's legacy don't matter. Like, this guy putting his life on the line didn't matter. We all have to do whatever it takes to secure Pacquiao's victory. And I don't like that favoritism shit. You know what I'm saying? This guy earned it. It was taken from him. This time it couldn't be. The judges, they couldn't rob him, even though I thought Pacquiao was winning this fight. I think, after he knocked Marquez down, he got back into the fight. He began to touch Marquez. He looked like he was en route to a victory, but it was just the round 5, round 6. It was like 6 more rounds to go. Anything could have happened. But guess what? All that got cut short by a counter right hand knockout. So I'm glad for Marquez. He did his thing. He won legitimately. The judges could not give their opinion on what they thought was a close fight, because the last fight, it wasn't nothing close about it. Marquez routed that boy. You know what I'm saying? Every time Pacquiao threw a punch, the crowd, the networks, the commentators went ballistic, but he wasn't doing nothing. He lost. You know what I'm saying? So this time that wasn't going to happen. At least in this fight, he was actually touching Marquez legitimately. When he was throwing those hands were connecting. As you see, Marquez's nose was broke. He was busted up. Pacquiao was getting with him a little bit in this fight. To me, I thought he was going to end up winning the fight, Pacquiao. But like I said, all that got cut short. So congratulations to Marquez. He did his thing. He was outthinking Pacquiao. Pacquiao was trying to use his speed to beat him. I can think back to what was it, round 3? I had the first 2 rounds for Pacquiao. Round 3, Marquez began to find him. He would, you know how Marquez likes to set guys up. He hit him to the body, and they, reset. They figured each other out, and he hit him to the body again with that left hand. And then right when it looked like he was going back to that same punch, Pacquiao put this arm down, and Marquez went, boom! Knocked him right on his ass, boy. Outthinking him. Timing beats speed. You know what I'm saying? So, congrats to Marquez, man. I'm happy for the guy. If I was Marquez, I'd go ahead and retire. You made plenty of money. I mean, if you want to stick around, you might as well take a fight that'll get you the most money. Stay away from the young guns who ain't really done much in the sport yet. They got years ahead of them, and you don't. Until then, it's your boy Ash. Peace.